What's up, YouTube? I got a few things I want to talk about. The first concerns Pedro Sanchez, the Prime Minister of Spain. Now, he represents the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, which currently rules Spain as a minority ruling coalition. He introduced new legislation calling for female parity in all spheres. Specifically, this law would require all Spanish political parties to submit candidate lists that are half male, half female. Now, keep in mind that Spain has proportional representation. They do not have American-style elections. Also, any business, corporation, private organization, if they're over a certain size, their board of directors will be required to be at least 40% or more female. Now, this will probably pass because this is the ruling party of Spain right now. Last December, Sanchez made Spain the first country in the world to mandate extra vacation days for women for menstrual cramps. Also, they said that any male 14 or older can unilaterally declare themselves to be a woman at any time, and the Spanish government has to recognize them as such. So there's some obvious disconnects here. Women must be treated the same as men and mandated into leadership positions, but because they're different than men, they get extra vacation days, but also dudes can declare themselves to be a woman at any time and thus seize these mandates. So what's to stop a flood of men from suddenly declaring themselves to be women so they can be mandated into power? Now, let's think about this for a second. Let's think about some of the most famous women in history. Cleopatra, Boudica, the Maid of Lorraine, Queen Isabel, Catherine the Great, Queen Elizabeth. Would any of these women interest you if they were tainted by mandates? If you thought Cleopatra only got her position because she was a woman, because of mandates, would she be interested? My favorite person that I just mentioned is the Maid of Lorraine, in America normally called Joan of Arc. The movie The Messenger, starring Mila Jovovich, is one of my favorite movies of all time. And it specifically depicts Joan of Arc in like a feminine framework as a woman. And a lot of feminists don't like the movie. I've argued with feminists about this movie before. I think the movie's phenomenal. But to me, if the Maid of Lorraine was given her position because the Dauphine of France had a mandate to put a woman in charge, then it would not be interesting at all. It would completely destroy everything. So I don't think any of this benefits women. I think this is absolute clown world nonsense, and Spain is spiraling towards collapse. I do have some good news, though. I want to talk about Austria for a minute. So I've done many videos in the past about the Austrian Freedom Party. And 2 Austrian regions have held regional elections this year. First, there was Lower Austria, and then the other day there was Carinthia. Now, I've been trying to learn German for many years, so I know I have some watchers in Germany and Austria, so see if I pronounce this right. Niederösterreich in Carinthia. So in 2018, Lower Austria got 14.8%. In 2023, they got 24.2%. Now, in between this, was the so-called Ibiza affair, where the so-called scandal, which was a high-level intelligence operation most likely carried out by the government of Germany. I think that most of you will probably agree with me. And this, basically Straka was baited into making some comments which made the party look bad. They weren't actually admissions of anything illegal. It was just scandalous and bad optics. They did quite well in Lower Austria. Carinthia, they got 23% in 2018, and they just got 24.6%. Now, Carinthia is a really complicated story. That is where Jörg Haider was the governor for a long time. So, if you don't know, the Austrian Freedom Party has been around since the 50s. And it basically started out as what Americans would call a libertarian party. And during the 90s, Jörg Haider, well, he sort of took the party more in a socially conservative direction, especially on immigration. And in 1999, the party got over 40% in Carinthia. He became the mayor of Carinthia. I think he was actually the mayor in the early 90s, and then he became mayor again in 99, and then they got over 40% in 2004. He was mayor again. Well, in 2008, he died in a single car crash. A lot of people say it was murder. I'm not going to say it was murder, but it was a mysterious one-car crash. After he died in this crash, well, he had just started a Austrian Freedom Party splinter group in Carinthia. And so his splinter group got over 40%, but there are still people running as the regular Austrian Freedom Party. If they were all running together, they probably would have had an absolute majority in the region. At any rate, his hand-picked successor became governor of Carinthia, but then things like continued to devolve, and then there was basically the Austrian Freedom Party versus two different splinter groups. So it is a complicated situation in this province, but in the 2018 election, the Social Democrats came close to getting 50%. They got like 47.5, I think. Well, they came down almost 10 points. So Carinthia did shift way back to the right. And there's a party called Team Stronach, which is a long story. It's named after a guy from Canada who's of Austrian descent. It's real complicated. But Team Stronach is mostly former members of either the Austrian Freedom Party or Jörg Haider's splinter group with the Austrian Freedom Party. And basically, it's a populist regional party. But they went from about 5.7% to almost 10%. So they went way up, and the region did pivot to the right. But it does look like the Austrian Freedom Party is back again, and they're doing well. Lastly, Estonia also had a general election the other day. And I've done videos in the past about the Estonian Conservative People's Party. This is a hardline, socially conservative party. Now, they still came in second place. They came down slightly. They got about 19% in the previous election. They got about 17.5% this time. There's a party called E200. and it's billed as a centrist party. As far as I can tell, it's pretty left-wing. It seems left-wing to me. They went way up. And so it looks like Estonia shifted to the left. Now, I used to have a Facebook page for this YouTube channel, and I had some Estonians in the Facebook page that were providing me information about that country. Facebook suddenly deleted it one day. So I'm not 100% sure about what this E200 is, but it feels like it's left-wing to me. So it feels like Estonia actually moved to the left during this election. Now, one of the leaders of the Estonian Conservative People's Party was supposed to come to America for the past 2 years in a row, and I was planning to go and meet him, and both times he canceled because of the vaccine mandate in America. Well, the vaccine mandate on incoming visitors has been repealed. Maybe he'll visit America this year, and I can talk to him, hopefully. All right, thanks for watching this video. Click the like button. Post a comment below. Tell me what you think about all this. Please subscribe to my backup channels on BitChute and Odyssey. And click the subscribe button. New video every few days.